Hey everybody, Rhys here, ready for another Facebook Live. This one will be a lot of fun. Difference between healing and curing. And let me just make sure that I've got this public. Yes, so everybody can see it. And all right, Nancy's on there. Hey Nancy, good, you're number one. You're coming on there. Hey Jane, all right. Trish is on there, Chris is on there. All right, Joycely, that's a cool name. All right, so everybody's going to be coming on very soon, and so I want to get started with with this idea. I definitely took down a few notes and things about the difference between healing and curing, and I run an energy medicine school, so we of course spend an enormous amount of time focusing on healing, and I'm not a trained physician, and so one of the things that we actually have to qualify is and tell people that we're not actually, unless you're a physician, you're not allowed to cure anything. It's like it's not allowed to even say that you cure things. So so healing is really, there's these two worlds of allopathic medicine, which is really designed and focused on combating illness or disease, and dis-ease in the body appears in some kind of a malady, but the question is, does curing, which is what allopathic medicine is designed to do, which is really working at the very first chakra level. You have an issue, and you will be cured of that issue. So, for instance, the question is when you heal the broken bone, if you break the bones in your arm from falling out of a tree, you can cure those broken bones with a pin, or then the doctors have an infinite number of things. When you break something or something's actually gone wrong and your dis-ease is acute or chronic, usually the doctors are better with the acute illnesses, and healing's better with the chronic illnesses. But basically, you can cure a broken arm, but can you heal the person's fear that will continue about heights, about falling from heights, or being yelled at for falling from heights, which then makes it even worse. It accelerates that. So the question is that healing something? So you can cure, and most illnesses, most acute sort of breaks or body scrapes or things like that, wounds that you take heal within a few weeks to a few months, depending upon what they are. But psychological illnesses, psychological relationship to that injury. So, for instance, a child falls out of a tree, hurts their arm, but they get yelled at. And why were you up in the tree? We told you not to be in the tree. You shouldn't be up there. It's so dangerous. So heights are terrible. And they just get and they have this. So now, every time they are anywhere where they might get up somewhere high, they have this enormous anxiety about heights that wasn't in them when they were a child. They weren't born with it. They learned that. And so the wound was cured, but the person wasn't healed, because the real issue was going to be the trauma that happened after the event, right? So a lot of our things that we need to heal in our lives are not just acute, and so I want to talk about so what's the difference between healing and curing, and why are people leaning toward healing now? Because we've really been a country and a world of well, not a world, because in the East they've been doing healing work for tens of thousands of years, and have maintained it even in the face, even in the presence of curing and fixing, and and science and genetics and all of these things that seem so concrete, and healing tends to always seem so nebulous. So what is the actual definition? And by the way, just in the United States alone, there are 300 million people And 1/3, 100 million people use alternative medicine. Okay, now they're all paying for healthcare, which which is too bad. In a lot of countries they don't. I live over in Spain a good portion of the time now, and people don't stress about whether they're going to be able to come up with $500, $800, $1,000 or $1,500 a month for the family, so you can get health insurance that then you have to go and pay when you use it. They don't have that. They have health insurance, which is a kind of healing, right? So we kind of miss the boat on a lot of things when it comes to what healing is. A person that doesn't worry whether they're going to get health care won't get as sick, because they're going to have this. They'll feel more whole, more loved, more held, and they will tend to go when they need it and not when they don't. And Americans really don't go when they need it because they're afraid of the bill. Even when you have health insurance, it's like, yeah, I don't want to, my deductible's too high, I'll just stay sick. So anyway, so that's a whole nother level of curing, and that's actually going to be my solution to all problems at the end. So one of the things I looked up, there was an article in Psychology Today, and it said curing means the eliminating the evidence of disease. So curing is about eliminating the evidence of disease, and the absence of symptoms, is cured. So if something's cured, all of a sudden there's, the arm looks pretty good, right? Okay, it's cured, right? It's cured. You can use it again. It's functional. And cure is actually, its definition is the remedy for disease. You have a disease, there's something you can do or take, a pill or something, so the disease is something that's sort of like separate from you. It doesn't really belong, and then you need something to fix it. So a cure is something that you do to a disease to fix it. But these are all mental and external type of work that needs to be done in this cure zone. Healing, on the other hand, they define healing as becoming whole. Okay, so now I'm going to change this because this is really the way I teach it at the Rhys Institute. And those of you that are looking to do more healing in your life and less curing, or maybe curing's good when you need curing, get it, okay? Because it's a very first chakra thing, and I'll talk about the chakras in relationship to that. And but basically the idea is that curing has a problem with it. When you think about curing something, what you're mentally focusing on is bringing the organism back to where it was before the accident. There's a big problem, because every event that happens in our lives, one cannot be, one only happens once, right? You never have more than, nothing ever happens more than once. It's like the next time something happens, it may look the same, but it's very different. Every event in our lives changes us permanently, okay? The only thing in the universe that doesn't change, doesn't flow with life, is the human mind. It's the only one. We are the only species that doesn't allow the events of our lives to help us realize that we're constantly growing, constantly learning, changing, growing. It's like when we're good and then we get injured, you get the broken bone, or we have something happen, or or we get sick, all of a sudden it's like, I want to get back, because my brain's like, that was the good stuff, and I want to get back to that. And so what happens is that we miss this understanding. Healing is about not just becoming whole, but becoming new in a new way. So, for instance, I didn't break my arm, but once you've broken a bone, I broke my hand. Once you've broken, you can see this hand is different than this hand. This bone's nice and straight. This bone's nice and straight. Martial arts will do it to you. And this bone, see this bone here? This bone's got a little curve in it. Okay, and I would have loved it if it went back to the way this one was. Okay, I would have probably broken it again had it done that. But when it sort of healed and decided that it would be better in this shape, and it was going to build up a little more calcium around it, and it was going to do this because I was going to keep punching with that hand, in all the 25 years of martial arts, that hand decided, I'm going to give you an upgrade, right? I'm gonna make sure that this heals this way. So if you understand that you can't go backward, then curing is a real problem, because curing is based on the idea that we're going to bring you back to the way you were before. And you don't want to go back to the way you were before. You want to have that experience, totally experience that experience, really understand what it's like, and really recognize that there are both external and internal mechanisms that are at work here. Okay, so let's just before I go on to any other parts of this, let's have people type in what have you cured? What have you cured in your life? Anybody on there? Just what have you cured in your life or healed in your life? What and was there a difference? Okay, so type in what have you cured in your life? Anybody? Just type in what have you cured? What's been going on with you? What did you have? Did you have a car accident? Did you have what is, and it can be, we're going to talk about emotional healing in a second, but okay, fatigue. All right, so how you cured your fatigue by doing what? Okay, Shaf, what did you do to cure your fatigue? Let's go. Anybody have anything else? Nobody's healed anything or cured anything? How about your cold? How about a cold? How about a sprained ankle or something even more? All right. Well, we can keep going. Okay. Thoughts. Okay. So Shaf said that she cured her fatigue through her thoughts, and that's so I guess a headache. Okay, so there you go. So a headache, my heart. So what was going on, Cheryl, with your heart? What was it? Heart broken? Was it an emotional thing, or was it you literally had a heart murmur or something that you cured or healed? When you had that. Go ahead and type those in. Okay, Kelly. Hi, Kelly. 2 broken ankles. Oh, nice. Okay, so you had 2 broken ankles, and so Kelly, when you're thinking about those broken ankles, you cured them probably through, probably by putting them in casts and strapping them up, but did you? And so Kelly, how did you break your 2 ankles? I guess I have chronic pancreatitis caused by congenital abnormality. I would love this to be healed. Okay, all right. So we'll talk about when you have a chronic or a congenital illness, and how do you heal that? And I think so we can address that. Why don't we address that right now? Because that's really sort of where we're going with this. Is that healing is an enormously powerful ability, and that's why I teach an energy medicine school. I teach a healing school. We basically teach people how to heal themselves, other people, and to be a healing element in the world. And what a healing element is in the world is to understand that even if you have if you have chronic pancreatitis because of a congenital illness, you are capable of having that illness within you, having diabetes or whatever, and then but creating an environment in your body where the symptoms don't hold you back, where the symptoms aren't present, where you literally are able to hold your energy field and your consciousness, even if it's something that's an uncurable illness. It's very common that people shift their consciousness, shift their awareness, and create an ability to not have those symptoms become something that drives them to, whatever else is, surgeries and things like that. So, one at 15 played softball one at 35 fell out of the car, both times left ankle. Okay, oh, so 2 sprained ankles, same ankle. All right, so Cheryl said healed and nurtured. Okay, so healed the heart emotionally. Okay, nice. And that's so we'll talk about that as well here really quickly. Okay, so breaking the same ankle. So one of the things. Oh gosh, I got to go grab something. I'm going to go grab a really cool thing. So don't go anywhere. Okay, I'm back. Sorry about that. I forgot to bring my little papers here. Now, so one of the things that we do at the school, and that's an energy medicine school, and so there's an enormous number of things you need to do to become a healer. The most of which is to discover who you really are as a person, to become whole again, right? So one of the most diseased elements of us is that we fragment our attention between who we actually are and who we think we're supposed to be, and that causes a dissociation energetically. We run the energy wrong through our bodies, and that causes illness. So almost every illness is caused by not knowing who you are. But that you have to come to a program like mine to really understand it. There's programs that tell you, you take the Myers-Briggs and say, well, I guess I'm this. Well, and it proves who you already thought you were, rather than who were you born to be, who are you energetically born to be. And so one of the things the other thing that we do at the more like at the physical level and emotionally connected, and there's a psycho-spiritual kind of connection between illnesses that healing deals with that curing doesn't. Curing is really first chakra. You got this. You got a broken ankle, and you have to heal this. So when you have when you've broken one ankle more than others, what you will notice is that this is actually one of 2 sheets that we give you, just sort of like these are the crib notes for human body. And the human body, by the way, every part of the human body is energetically has a purpose. It's like you have a purpose. You're not just here to just get a job and make a little money and retire and die. You are here to hold a space in the universe that and help the entire universe is expanding and changing and growing. Well, so are you. That's why anything that we try to do, like cure, where we're trying to go back to where we used to be, right, is just crazy. It's like you can't go back to where you used to be. You become whole around the fact that you've had this event. That's how you heal it. And you realize that event was actually able to show you more about who you are. So one of the things that we do in the school, we teach people how to understand that different parts of your body are actually calling you to pay more attention, to be more conscious. And we're gonna talk about what is actual healing. Where does it come from? It comes from expanding your level of consciousness. So what if we look at this chart? And here's this beautiful little chart, and this lovely lady who's showing all of her organs, and we look at the ankle, and it says ankles are, the purpose of the ankle is to dance through life. And whenever you are hurting your ankle, spraining your ankle, you have a level of inflexibility. And of course, the left side is where you're inflexible around trusting that you can just dance and play and enjoy life. And you've got it, and you're sort of not allowing yourself to just enjoy and flow. And dance and play. And so ankles are also, because they have to do with dance, they're about pleasure. The right side of the body represents the belief systems. And so if you spraining the right ankle, hurting the right ankle, breaking the right ankle, it has to do with you don't believe that you can have that pleasure and the joy in life. It's like life's work, and it's like, and you hold that. And whenever you hold your legs really tight, of course, the universe just goes whoosh, and breaks knees, ankles, everything goes when you're not flowing with it, when you're not moving with it. Okay, so left ankle would be about trust and trusting that you can receive and enjoy the pleasures of just flowing with life. And so that would be the healing. That would be the beginning of a healing, rather than just looking at it and saying, okay, can I get this ankle back where it was? And if you've broken the ankle twice, you probably now have, you probably now have a situation where you are favoring that ankle, or there's symptom, maybe there's some arthritis, maybe there's something that comes up with that ankle that when you heal the issue around it. So when you have not solved that issue in your body, and so for instance, let's pick another one. So what about the bladder? Fear and inability to protect others, not you, especially children. So if you have an issue around, you're worried about your children, somebody's other child was wounded or taken or something happened, and you have this anxiety, you're going to have bladder issues. You're going to have that's a very typical cause of that. Now you can cure the cystitis or whatever is in the bladder, but you can't cure the trigger for it. You have to heal that. You have to recognize that there's a fear that you have that isn't in the present moment, that takes you're trying to go back to where you're trying to cure something. You're trying to go back to where it was before it used to be good, and now it's bad. And so you're living in the past. You're not in the present moment, and all healing has to happen in the present moment. You can't heal anything out of the present moment. And so recognizing what's actually triggering, what's actually driving these things is really, really important. And so, I mean, as you can see here, there's like 100 of these things, right? This is just the crib notes. Okay. You have to really understand the body, every finger, your hands, your neck, every part of your body. So let's go the throat. Choking on the truth, can't ask for needs. The neck is the back of the neck is very much like your vocation, your job. When there's like a pressure to do more, you get this pain in the back of the neck. Teeth have to do with important decisions. So I wanted to bring that into this just from the understanding that the deeper meaning of illness is that you are out of balance, you are not whole. You have decided in some way that you aren't, that you aren't connected to, to your life, or you're trying to be somebody that you aren't, you're trying to be good, you're trying to be more or less. And whenever you do that, you're running your energy not in a natural way. And the reason you do it is because of one of these things. It's like, I don't deserve to have pleasure. I don't deserve to speak my truth. I can't control the environment and protect my children. I can't, and so those things are what need to be healed. So that's an important, so the pancreas. The pancreas lets in the sweetness of life and balancing high burn and slow burn energies of life. So in the pancreas, it's how much do you let in the sweetness of life, and of course diabetes is that element, because the pancreas is processing the sugars, and of course the pancreas, when it's healthy, it burns the sugar when you need it and not when you don't. And so the high burn and low burn sort of times, and not knowing how to manage that, and you may find that you have a hard time managing when you burn the candle at both ends, and when you recover and relax and recoup. So and being able to let in that sweetness, let in this, literally the love and the sweetness of life is the pancreas. So now let's get to, because I don't want to make this thing go too long today. So just really quickly, healing in each of the chakras, for instance, if you're going to really learn how to run your body and heal your body, at the first chakra level, cure is the healing in the first chakra, right? Because you want to cure, not necessarily go backward, but you want to heal things in a sort of like an allopathic way. In the second chakra, it's emotional healing. So there's an emotional component to to that sort of feel. You have to feel the shift. And so when you're sick and you heal, what happens is that you notice that there's an expansion. You're sick, you're heavy, the energy's down, and all of a sudden, and then there's this emotional expansion, just like there's more movement. So the first chakra, there's lack of movement physically, you can't move, and so healing it is is curing and doing something allopathic so you can then move again. Well, it's second chakra. The healing is about expanding your emotions again, your feelings. It's like, oh, I'm feeling better. Taking a deep breath. Oh, you're doing so much better, right? So you get better that way. In the third chakra, is actually one of my favorite healing centers for most people. It's the one that most people won't do. It's actually living your life. It's actually acting as if that thing that happened to you was the best thing that ever happened to you. Okay, so I don't care what it is you're trying to heal. If you act in third chakra, so I mean, we're talking about big power here. Your body's energy, your body really listens to your third chakra. It's the actions, right? And when you are walking like this thing was the greatest thing that happened to you, if your pancreatic issue that you've got, or your broken ankle, it's like you're walking like, that was great. That taught me so much. And when you do healing work, like you come to the Rhys Thomas Institute, and you can I've got the URL on here. If you're interested in finding about class is starting in 2 weeks. If you're thinking about doing this, if you like what I talk about on these Facebook Lives, just imagine this times 1,000, right? I'm just giving you the tiniest little tidbits of what we teach in the school that you absolutely have to know to love your life, to live your life, to have all the energy you want to have. And so this one little thing about the third chakra, that third chakra, when you act as if, not faking it, but literally raise your energy, expand your field, and just say, I could die tomorrow. I'm not going to spend my energy being down and not doing things and hiding from life, right? It's like, I'm going to act as if that gave me the motivation to change everything, to love more, to go after, to talk to people more, to share more, to make sure that, none of us know how long we're going to be here. The action is, I'm giving it all right now. Okay. So that's a huge third chakra. And then we'll end on the fourth chakra, because each chakra has these things, right? So, and the fourth chakra is where you love yourself more after something happens, right? Right? It's like, that's the healing. The cure, you love the fact that that you had this, or you're okay with the fact, but there's no love. The love is like, wow, something really happened. Something's really challenged me. I have this chronic issue. I've got this thing that happened. I've got this, this relationship broken up. We had the broken heart there that healed emotionally. It's like, and when you have been through something, that thing that you've been through can allow you to open the heart energy center, which is the whole energy center in the body, up and expand out through. So that we'll end on the heart, because that's really the key with healing. The difference between cure and healing is cure is based on thinking and mental process, right? Cure is figuring out the problem, which is a mental concept, that this is broken, this should be like that, and it's not. And so how do we get this to be more like that, or that to be more like this? How do we do that? We're going to figure this out, and we're going to make a science of it, and we're going to really study it, and we're going to, and we have, and God knows these brilliant doctors have made our lives, have elongated our lives, and they're actually looking at right now, they're looking at the mitochondria and cells and figuring out how to actually make us limitless, make us be able to live 500 years, which is great. And science, I'm not saying there's anything the matter with science, but you don't want to live 500 years if you haven't healed the issues in your life, right? Most people, when I say, would you like to live 500 years? They say, God, no, Jesus. Why? Because you haven't healed the issues of your life. You've cured them. And if you've healed the issues in your life, you can't wait to have more life, right? Because everything that you've had has been the best thing that's ever happened to you, because you healed it, okay? And when you heal something, you're so thankful for it. You're so appreciative of that it happened to you, or that it is happening to you. It's like, this is giving me the opportunity to rise above this, to have more compassion, to have more reverence for life itself, because I know how fleeting it can be, right? This is what healing is. Healing is that, okay? So the brain is in charge of curing. which is great. And God knows we need it. And that, the brain knows that you fix this and fix that. Healing is the heart. And so people that say, of course the statement, bleeding heart liberals, like, oh yeah, that's really bad. It's like, really? Are you kidding? So the heart is actually where we're going. When we actually learn how to heal from the heart and recognize that the heart has more energy in it to heal than any other part of the body, because it manages everything but thinking. Okay, so all of the chakras, all the energy centers have electromagnetic energy. The heart is the one that communicates with all of you, every part of your body. So there's so 9/10 of your body's energy is managed by the heart. The brain only manages 1/10 of the energy. It tends to be the most clever of us, and curing is an incredibly clever thing to do. We have become incredibly clever, but life isn't about being clever. Life is about wisdom, and wisdom comes from healing these things and recognizing that everything that happens to us is calling us to something greater within us, rather than hoping that we don't get older, or that we don't have, that we can go back to something. That's the brain. The brain is caught in time. It lives in the past, so it thinks you can too, and you can't. The heart only lives in the present moment. Okay, it only lives in the present moment, and so it is capable of healing you in the present moment, because in the present moment, everything that's ever happened to you was the best thing that ever happened to you, because you can't fix it, you can't change it. It's like there's nothing that's ever happened to you that hasn't been the best thing that's ever happened to you. How could it be? And your heart loves life. And you are part of life, right? Your heart and soul love life. They love being alive. And so healing, and I'll just end on this, healing is the expansion of the larger energy field, right? So you've got this energy field all around you. And when you are sick or injured, you focus on the hurt more than you focus on the fact that nothing's changed in your life purpose. Nothing has changed in your energy field, other than you got hit, hurt, fell down. I fell down a couple of weeks ago, and I started going into shock. I fell on a stream bed where it was total rock, and I hit the rocks like a ton of bricks, and I couldn't brace myself because I was actually holding my iPod, because I was recording some of the water sounds, and I'm having to heal from that. But you know what? There's a huge amount. I hit my hip. The hip is about trusting whether you can move forward in life, right? And I'm doing so much right now around moving forward, changing, moving to Spain, doing, just all of these things that I'm doing moving forward in my life, and my elbow, and I slammed my elbow on and I was like, and elbows are about creating, like in a bar, how you create space in a bar so you can get up to the bar. You got to create space for yourself, and trusting both sides. I hit my left side, my trust that I can create the space in my life, the time in my life, and totally move into a new level. And I'm the kind of guy that's moving forward all the time. But, even I have these moments when it's like, can I do it? Can I move even more? And for each of you to understand your body talking to you that way, and that's the healing. So what happens is that when you have an illness or an injury, and you do the work that we do at the Rhys Thomas Institute, and we really teach you how things in your life are calling you to raise your consciousness. Oh, the energy field expands. And when the energy field expands, you don't have to have that first chakra, all of the rules. The doctor says you're going to feel this is going to happen, that's going to happen, and then this is going to happen, and that's what happens here, and then it's going to end up with surgery, and then you're going to end up being infirmed, and then you're going to die, and that's what your life's going to be like. And it's like, oh boy, that's a good plan. What if I just raise my energy field and have so much energy that I can have that illness and don't even notice it, don't even feel it, because more of my attention is on the fact that I'm both the particle that can break and the wave that can't be broken. You can't break a wave. Most of what you're made of, look, the body is 1/10 of, or 8% of the whole energy field. The rest of who you are is a wave that you can't cut it, hurt it. You can't do anything to it other than experience it. And when you're focused more on the expansion and the wave, you're going to have, your symptoms are going to go away. And that's where illnesses, literally, people go, how did you heal that? It's like, I didn't need to heal it. I just needed to not make it the focus of my life. So you want to go from cure, which is the focus of being really clever with your mind and fixing it somehow, which you totally need when you got a broken bone, when you've got something, you got a cold, whatever, you need to focus and making sure that you're drinking more water, taking care of things, whatever you need to do. Go see the chiropractor, get the massage, get body work. I had some body work yesterday from after that fall, and it's just like, and now it's working on me, right? So each of us need to have healing. That's why now 1/3, we're talking about 1/3 of Americans are using alternative medicine, because 1/3 of Americans, and I would say that more than half of Americans know that allopathic medicine and the drug companies don't really have your best interest at heart. Your doctor does. I do believe that doctors are doing it for the right reason, but they're so limited by the system that really needs people to be sick so they can make their money, rather than healing, where if you just teach people to expand their energy field, the healthcare system as we know it will collapse, and something else will take its place. There will be such a higher, people will understand, oh, I've got a first chakra issue. Now I'll go see the doctor. I'll take care of this thing. But if you're managing the other energy fields, you tend not to get to those first chakra issues as often, and you'll be much healthier. It's called preventative medicine. When you're more wave than you are particle, then the particles are listening to the expansion and the energy of the wave. So anyway, all right. I'll go. So you guys totally rock. Any questions, anything you have about healing, ask questions. If you have something, if you have an illness, type it in. I'll take a couple questions right now before we go. Anybody, any illness that you have, anything that you have a question on in your, we need to keep going. Energy people around us, not negative Nellies. Yes. And yeah, absolutely. And expanding your energy field has to do with really, understanding that you're present, your awareness of who you are, and practicing every day, going into and finding a way to do healing work or do meditation work, do energy work, chi type of energy work, and then literally doing like this. This is healing me. This is expanding my energy field. When I'm done with this, the likelihood of me getting sick or injured or not feeling great is very slim, because I'm matching my deeper purpose with my actions in life. So I'm using all of my different chakras, all these different energy centers, to come into congruence with my deeper purpose. And that is what healing is. That's how you heal. You don't heal by fixing something when it was broken, because you were doing the wrong thing to begin with, right? So learning how to expand that. So let me see, does anybody have a question on any type of illness? Okay, lupus. Okay, lupus. Yes, autoimmune diseases are diseases where you are literally, you have learned to attack the self, right? And lupus is the wolf, right? Lupus is it's called lupus because lupus has the wolf. And so like the wolf is literally attacking the self, and eating you alive. And so a person who has lupus has to really, really become conscious of how much their energy is turned against the self. And are you, have you learned, and often with and interestingly with autoimmune diseases, when you do healing work around them, they do, you may still have the markers for it, but when you start loving yourself and recognizing that let's say third chakra healing, when you walk out there and you're like, I love myself, I'm not waiting to get over lupus before I'm going to be like, this is the life I'm going to live. I'm doing this. Amazingly, what happens is that challenges that whole belief system that that you should, attack yourself, put yourself down, and that sort of turning against yourself energetically. So lupus for sure, and have had many students come through the school. Many people work with me, either privately or in workshops and things that are working with lupus, and the types of meditations we do, the type of healing work that we do, that brings you back to that, remembering what it's like to be totally alive, and then stand up and walk that way, talk that way, move that way, and it's so crazy that in illness, the things you learn to do to protect those illnesses or those hurts end up being the things that trigger the hurt, right? They trigger the symptom, because the symptoms, they like, for instance, back pain. They studied, I don't know how many, 500 people with 1,000 people with back pain, and they had another 500 that have no back pain, and they between the back pain people, except for maybe the ones that just had a massively bulging disc, but there were people with bulging discs, there were people with all sorts of spinal irregular, and there was no difference between them other than one decided that they were going to focus on their pain in their back and the other one didn't. And so where you put your focus expands. That's what's going to expand in your life, and of course that's going to create problems. So the more you focus on the illness, the more you're going to have illness. The more you focus on your life and your purpose, realizing that we could all die tomorrow, right? This is it. And I'm always amazed. I always get people, they're like, well, I'll do your program next year, or I'll do it. It's like, how many years have you been putting off everything in your life till next year? Because, well, I'm busy. Are you ever not going to be busy? It's just so silly. It's like, and then like, well, I'm going to get it all organized for next year. And then I'm always like, you know what? There will be, by next year, you'll have another 14 things that are going to be attracting your attention away from what you really need to do, which is just enjoy your life. Find that way to expand your energy field. Then, amazingly, those other things are things you deal with so much more easily, and you can then do more things that you like to do in your life. So that's what we do. Okay, Lyme disease and co-infections since '98. Okay, so Lyme disease is an interesting one because it is a invasion, right? And often it's the spirochetes and everything that gets in the joints, and it's all of this stuff. And so it's really about invasion. And so almost always the people that get chronic Lyme disease have very sensitive systems where they get invaded very easily. I get bitten by a tick and it falls off. Someone else gets bitten by a tick and it's only in there for an hour. It's supposed to be in there for I don't know how many hours or days or something before it can transmit the little critters that it does, the microorganisms in there that cause the Lymes. But for some people it's like instantaneously, and so it's energetically there's an opening to being invaded, and so that is the healing process for them. And we actually in the I can't remember which year. In the second or third year, we actually teach. We have our own, nobody else, this is our own healing, and it's very powerful. We teach a healing specifically to remove the limes, the Lyme out of the body. And this is a incredibly powerful healing, but the person has to create an environment in their body that isn't afraid of being invaded, because it opens the invasion, right? If I say don't invade, it's like what's the animal totem? The rabbit. The rabbit runs out in the field and goes, eagle, you don't see me, don't see me, and of course then he brings attention to himself. The eagle comes down and eats him. And that's our biggest problem with our lives, is that we don't see that the feeling and being able to not reject how sensitive you are, but embrace it, expands the energy field. That a more expanded energy field creates a vibration, a higher vibration that those little critters don't like. And it's more likely that if you are taking antibiotics or doing things to rid yourself of those, that system is much more likely to be more open to getting the medicine to the right places in the body. Okay. Anybody else have anything any illness that you have a question on? There you go. All right, Denise. Well, come on. You're welcome. You are totally welcome to come. You can get a call with me just by going to the website, and you go to that URL on this. And anybody wants to get a call with me, you just put your name and email in there, and at this point you got to talk to me. We can work it out. I think we have about 4 spots left. I think we got 46 students signed up, where our max is 50, and so we've about 4 spots. So if any of you are thinking, hey, I got to do this, it's time. Anyway, we are, we have so much fun too. Healing is the greatest thing in the world, right? Curing is, we all have to do that, but healing, man, that's where it's at. That's where, you get a bigger energy field, and it's your consciousness expands not just to heal yourself and heal these maladies, but you also start seeing where your purpose is, how you can share in the world, how you can change the world, right? So, all right, everybody, you don't need to hear that whole spiel, but it's, if you want to do it, check out the website. If you want to get a call with me about the program, now's the time. All right, bye, everybody.